All right, ready to dive in. Today we're all about finding that perfect diet, the one that really works for you.
And we've got two big contenders in the ring, the Flexitarian Diet and the Keto Meal Plan.
Two totally different approaches, right? Like night and day when it comes to what you're actually eating.
Exactly.
Right.
But both aimed at that same goal, a healthier lifestyle.
So kind of like choosing your own adventure, but for your health.
Yeah.
And we've got a stack of sources to help us navigate. Guides, expert comparisons.
Even a YouTube video that breaks it all down. We're going beyond the hype, getting into the nitty-gritty of what works.
Love that. So let's start with Flexitarian. This one always sounds so appealing. It's all about freedom, right? Not as strict as going full vegetarian.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a plant-forward approach. The very well-fit guide we have actually calls it semi-vegetarian.
Okay, so still mostly veggies, fruits, all that good stuff.
Exactly. Prioritizing those, but not totally giving up meat. More like adding in the good stuff, not focusing on restrictions.
That already sounds more doable. Because, let's be honest, sometimes you just crave a burger.
Right. It's about balance.
So where did this flexitarian idea even come from? Like, who's the mastermind behind it?
Well, a registered dietitian named Dawn Jackson Blattner, she actually wrote a book all about it, which is one of our sources today.
So this isn't just some random fad diet, it's actually got some research behind it.
Exactly.
Speaking of research, I saw this YouTube video that raved about the health benefits. Sounded a lot like going vegan or vegetarian, but, without having to give up everything delicious.
You're right on the mark. Our sources, especially that Healthline article, back that up. Lower risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even some types of cancer linked to the flexitarian diet.
Wow, pretty impressive.
And often it's seen as a more sustainable way to manage weight, too.
Okay, so far, flexitarian's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
But is it all sunshine and roses? There's got to be a catch, right?
Well, with any diet where you're changing things up, you got to be mindful. The articles did mention potential nutrient deficiencies, specifically things like vitamin B12, iron, zinc, calcium.
Oh yeah, those are the ones you usually get from animal products.
Right, so you have to be a bit more strategic about getting them from plant-based sources if you're going flexitarian.
Makes sense. It's not just about eating less meat, it's about being smarter about what you are eating.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's flexitarian. Now let's flip the script and talk keto. This one feels like it's been everywhere lately. Is it really the fat-burning miracle everyone claims?
Well, it's definitely a much bigger shift in how you eat. We're talking high-fat, very low-carb, like really cutting back on those carbs.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Goodbye bread basket, hello avocado and bacon.
Pretty much.
So it's not just about cutting back, it's a complete overhaul. No wonder people see such quick results. But before we get to that, let's break it down. What is this whole ketosis thing?
Ketosis is like the heart of the keto diet. When you drastically cut carbs, your body runs out of its usual fuel, glucose. So it has to find another way to get energy. And it does that by breaking down fat, creating these molecules called ketones.
So your body basically becomes a fat-burning machine.
Exactly. That's ketosis.
Okay, that's the science. But do the actual benefits live up to the hype? Dr. Taz in that comparison video was all about keto, but I'm always a bit skeptical.
Skepticism is a good thing, but honestly, a lot of the claims are backed up by science. Rapid weight loss, that's definitely a common outcome.
Right, that's what you hear the most.
But our sources pointed to other benefits too. Improved insulin sensitivity, which is huge for managing blood sugar levels.
Oh, right, that's important.
And then there's that potential for increased mental clarity and focus, like Dr. Kaz was saying.
Okay, I gotta admit, I'm intrigued. Weight loss, better blood sugar, and a sharper mind. Sounds pretty tempting. But there's got to be a downside, right? Spill the beans. What are the challenges with keto?
Well, the biggest one is the strictness. You're essentially saying goodbye to entire food groups. Bread, pasta, rice, most fruits.
Whoa, okay, so this is serious commitment.
It is. Even some veggies are off limits. This can be tough to maintain long term, especially in a world that loves carbs.
Sounds like it takes a lot of willpower. And what about the long game? Is keto something you can do forever or just a temporary fix?
That's a question a lot of people have, and it really depends on your lifestyle, your preferences.
So, no easy answer.
Not really. Our sources said it can be sustainable, but it takes a lot of planning, preparation, discipline. Those cravings can be tough to ignore.
Yeah, I can imagine. So both flexitarian and keto have their pros and cons. But stepping back, why are we even talking about diets in the first place? It's about more than just fitting into those skinny jeans, right?
Right. We're talking overall health and well-being, feeling good from the inside out, having energy, preventing those chronic diseases that can really impact your life.
Exactly. That's what makes this whole conversation so interesting. We've got these two paths: Flexitarian, all about adding good stuff; Keto, all about cutting things out. Two sides of the same coin.
I like that analogy. Two sides of the same coin, both leading towards better health.
And we're here to help you figure out which side might be the right fit for you.
Welcome back. Ready to really dig into these diets, see how they stack up in the real world?
Absolutely. We've talked about what they are. Now it's about how they actually work in your life.
Yeah.
Like, how easy are they to follow? Nobody wants a diet that feels like a constant struggle.
Right. It's got to be sustainable.
Exactly.
And I think when it comes to ease of following, Flexitarian definitely takes the cake.
Yeah.
It's all about flexibility, right? You're not rigidly tracking every single thing you eat, stressing about hidden carbs.
That's what always appealed to me about it. It's more of a lifestyle change than a strict diet.
Exactly.
But what about keto? That Dr. Taz comparison made it sound pretty intense, like you're constantly checking labels, doing math in your head.
Yeah, it can be a bit more demanding in that sense.
Right.
With keto, you're aiming for that metabolic state of ketosis.
Right, to burn fat.
Yeah, and that requires staying below a certain carb limit. So the sources we have, especially that Keto Meal Plan guide, they really emphasize careful tracking and planning.
So it's not for the faint of heart, huh?
It's definitely a commitment. You're basically changing your body's primary fuel source.
Makes sense why it needs more attention then. So it sounds like if you're someone who loves structure, loves diving into the details, keto might be a good fit.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you're more go with the flow, maybe flexitarian's the way to go.
Probably.
Speaking of fitting into your life, how adaptable are these diets? Can you tweak them to work for different needs and preferences?
That's such an important question. And honestly, that's another area where Flexitarian really shines.
Yeah.
The Healthline article even called it one of the easiest diets to adapt. Like, if you're gluten-free, dairy-free, have other dietary restrictions, you can usually make Flexitarian work for you.
That's a huge plus, especially for people with allergies or sensitivities. What about keto? Can you personalize it, or is it pretty much one size fits all?
Keto can be a little trickier on that front.
Oh, okay.
Because it's all about that strict carb restriction. It can be tough to adapt to other dietary needs, especially things that limit fat intake.
So if someone has to watch their fat for medical reasons, maybe keto's not the best choice.
Right. It's definitely crucial to talk to your doctor before making any big dietary changes, especially if you have any health conditions.
A good point. Okay, so we've got ease, we've got adaptability. But the big question is, can you actually stick with these diets long term? Nobody wants to be on this constant roller coaster of starting and stopping.
You're telling me that's the ultimate test for any diet. And the interesting thing is, our sources say both flexitarian and keto can be sustainable long term.
Really? So it really comes down to the individual.
It does. It's about how it fits your lifestyle, your personality. Like, if you love that freedom and flexibility of flexitarian, you're probably more likely to keep it up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you're drawn to the structure of keto, that potential for quick results, and you're motivated by the science behind it, you might find it easier to stick with that.
So it's about finding what clicks for you, what resonates on a deeper level.
Exactly.
I love that. It's not about forcing yourself into a mold. It's about finding what feels right and what you can see yourself doing long term.
Totally.
But let's not forget why a lot of people turn to diets in the first place.
Yeah.
Weight loss.
Yeah.
And our sources definitely highlight both flexitarian and keto as being effective for that.
They do, yeah.
But there's got to be more to it than just a number on the scale.
100%. It's about so much more than just weight. It's about improving your health overall, boosting your energy, feeling good in your own skin.
Right. It's the big picture.
Exactly. It's about feeling healthier, stronger, more confident. And I think that's what's so great about both these diets, whether it's flexitarian or keto.
Yeah.
They're not just quick fixes. They're about making lasting changes. Changes that actually benefit you in the long run.
So it's about that shift in mindset. Prioritizing good food, making healthy choices.
And finding a way of eating that you can actually enjoy, that you can sustain.
Love that.
Yeah.
So ease, adaptability, sustainability, we've covered a lot. But there's one crucial element we haven't mentioned yet. Enjoyment.
Oh, you're so right. That's huge.
Right. If you don't like what you're eating, you're not going to stick with it, no matter how healthy it is.
Nope, not a chance.
And that's where both flexitarian and keto have something to offer.
They do.
Like with flexitarian, you have the freedom to explore so many different flavors and cuisines.
Right.
You can still have those comforting dishes you love, but with a focus on plant-based ingredients.
And with keto, you might be surprised by how many delicious high-fat meals you can create.
Oh yeah.
Think creamy avocado smoothies, cheesy egg bakes. There's a lot to play with.
So it really comes down to what you enjoy eating.
It does. What works for one person might not work for another. It's all about finding what aligns with your preferences, your lifestyle, your goals.
There's no one-size-fits-all.
Nope. It's a journey, a journey of figuring out what feels right for you.
Okay, so we've hiked through the terrains of flexitarian and keto, seen their ups and downs, and now it's decision time. Which path are you going to take?
This is where you take the reins. We've given you the map, now you choose where you want to go with it. Let's recap, make sure we're all on the same page.
Sounds good. So first up, flexitarian. The freedom-focused approach, right? Adding more plant-based goodness, but without saying sayonara to all those meaty favorites.
Right. And remember all those benefits we talked about? That Healthline article especially laid it out pretty clearly. Lower risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even certain cancers. Flexitarian packs a punch. Plus, you can adapt it to fit different needs and lifestyles. That's a big plus for a lot of people.
Huge. But like we said, no diet's perfect. Got to remember those key nutrients. Vitamin B12, iron, can be a bit trickier to get enough on a plant-based diet.
True, you gotta be smart about it. Okay, now switching gears to keto, our fat-burning fast track. This one's all about changing how your body uses fuel.
Right, it's like a total system reboot. We learned that if you really cut back on those carbs, your body goes into ketosis and starts burning fat for energy instead of glucose. Hence, the rapid weight loss stories.
And it's not just about dropping pounds. That Keto Meal Plan guide was really interesting. It talked about improved insulin sensitivity, which is super important for blood sugar control.
Right, that can be a game changer for some people.
Totally. And then there's that mental clarity boost that Dr. Taz was so enthusiastic about.
Yeah, that definitely got my attention. But let's be honest, keto is not messing around. No bread, no pasta, no sugary treats. That's a big lifestyle shift. And it takes a lot of dedication to stay on track.
Definitely not for everyone. It takes planning, discipline, and a real desire to embrace a new way of eating.
So how do you actually choose? There's no magic formula, but there are a few things to think about.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what are your goals? Is it mainly about weight loss, or are you looking for a more overall approach to health and well-being? Both diets can work, but they have different strengths.
Right, it's about what you're looking to achieve. And then there's your lifestyle. Are you a kitchen whiz who loves cooking up elaborate meals? Or are you more grab and go?
Yeah, keto takes more prep and planning. Flexitarian gives you more wiggle room.
Exactly. And how do you feel about rules? Some people thrive on structure, others prefer to go with their gut.
Totally. Keto's got those clear boundaries. Flexitarian's more about finding a balance that feels right for you.
And maybe the most important thing? Be honest about your long-term commitment. Which one can you see yourself actually sticking with? Not just for a week, but for months, maybe even years.
That's the key to making it work. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's got to fit into your life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And hey, remember, you don't have to pick just one. Maybe you love the plant-forward focus of flexitarian during the week, but then you have a keto-inspired treat on the weekend.
Oh yeah, there's no rule against borrowing from both. Find that middle ground that works for you. Flexiketo, maybe?
There you go. It's all about finding what feels good, what you can stick with.
Exactly. And if you're ever feeling lost, don't be afraid to reach out to a professional, a doctor, a dietitian. They can help you figure it out.
Always good advice.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into flexitarian and keto. We've explored the science, the pros, the cons. Hopefully you're feeling empowered to make some healthy choices.
Remember, this is just the start. The journey to a healthier, happier you, it's ongoing. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep on diving deep.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another exciting exploration into the world of knowledge and discovery.